Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, watch this. Gotta clean off that windshield today, folks. Oh my god, I didn't clean it at all. Windshield is dirt. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. Oh my god, this is the worst intro of all time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Broden, and in today's video, we have another Mark's driving and talking, baby. Driving and chit-chatting. Holy moly. I'm gonna have to turn on the old air conditioning unit, which I actually have in the Integra. People are like, what? Yeah, I got AC in this thing, man. It's awesome. But yeah, today's like October. I haven't done a driving and talking video in quite some time. Just didn't really know what to talk about. But it's October and it's freaking hot out. It's really nice out. I'm in shorts, short sleeves, and it's basically November. Like that's unheard of. So I was like, I am feeling good today. I want to do a driving and talking video. So today's video is set on the idea of going over my favorite cars from each decade, starting from the 60s. I don't really know anything about cars before the 60s, and to be honest, I really don't even know that much about cars of the 60s too. So I didn't think it would make sense for me to do like 50s and 40s and stuff like that. So we're starting with the 60s and doing 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and then the 2020s. A lot of them have more than one choice because I'm indecisive, and so I couldn't choose between like a couple cars. But I will say, during each decade, like if I had to make one choice, which car I would choose, just for those people that are gonna be like, well, I want to know exactly which car your favorite is from that decade. Okay, without further ado, let's get right into it though. First off is the 60s, like I said, and we have two for the 60s that I couldn't really choose between. The 69 Chevy Camaro SS is the first one. I love the 69 Camaro SS. My dad loves the 69 Camaro SS. It is his dream car. He had one before my sister was born. My older sister was born. Got rid of it and has been wanting one ever since, and I totally don't blame him. I'm not a big muscle car guy, but back in the 60s, they knew what they were doing. They made some insane muscle cars back then, and as a matter of fact, the other 60s car is a 69 Charger RT. I know that there are some people out there that are gonna be like, what about the 2000 GT? What about the Lotus Elan? What about like the freaking, I don't know, Datsun 240Z? Like, what about these cars? They're cool cars, don't get me wrong, but I would much rather own a 69 Charger than one of those cars. They, to me, are perfection in terms of American car manufacturing. They nailed the design, the performance, and yeah, I know people are gonna be like, they can't corner, and you are literally sitting in an Acura Integra right now, like you clearly like cars that can corner. Why would you buy something that can't corner? Buddy, listen, I'm not buying the car, okay? They're like $100,000. I don't have $100,000, and if I did, I wasn't gonna be buying a friggin' Charger RT with that money, don't get me wrong. But they're cool cars. If I was forced to pick one, I think I would pick the Camaro over the Charger. I think I like the Camaro slightly more, but they're both really, really cool cars, dude. And I don't care. I know everybody else out there is like, well, in terms of motorsports, they didn't really accomplish much. I get that, but not everything is about that, dude. These cars were making close to 400 horsepower, some of them even more than 400 horsepower in the 60s. Like, that's still impressive today, and they were doing that back in the 60s. So like, it's those cars are insane. They're ahead of their time. I love them. As for the 70s, we also have two. I couldn't choose between these two. One is another muscle car. Listen, muscle cars back then were cool. It is the Plymouth Hemi Cuda, which is pretty much just a different version of a Dodge Challenger, but I like how the Hemi Cuda looks. I think the Hemi Cuda in Plum Crazy would go crazy. I want that car so bad. A purple Cuda, oh my god. If there's a purple Cuda that lives in Connecticut and I see it every once in a while, that guy is living the dream. I don't care, again, I don't care if you're a big Euro guy, a big JDM guy, you can't look at that car and be like, yeah, that's not cool. Like, it's just not possible. They are cool cars. And then the other car, though, is finally not an American car, the BMW 3.0 CSL. I freaking love this car. I think this car is so much cooler than, yes, the M1 Pro car. I know everybody else is going to disagree with me on that. Everybody always likes to hype up the M1 Pro car. It's like one of BMW's best race cars, and it absolutely is. but the 3.0 CSL is as well, okay? The 3.0 CSL was an incredible race car, and it looked insanely cool. It was just, I want a 3.0 CSL so bad. Now, I will say, the 3.0 CSL, like, road-going version of it, yeah, I don't really care for it. Like, it's not that special. It has to be the race car 3.0 CSL. It has to be that. If it's the race car one, that's the one I want, because those things are just absolutely insanely cool to me. They're lightweight, they look good, they still have like that BMW like beauty to it too, with the cute edges and everything. Oh my god. And it's back when before BMW decided to like round out their front, and so it has like the shark nose type thing to it. I love that. I love that about classic BMWs. I think that is absolutely insanely cool. If I was forced to choose one, however, though, I do think I would choose the Plymouth Hemi Cuda over the 3.0 CSL. I just love the Plymouth Hemi Cuda so much. Out of all the muscle cars in the world, that's my favorite muscle car of all time. Like, it is without a doubt my favorite muscle car. I love a purple Plymouth Hemi Cuda is like top 5 coolest cars of all time to me. I'm not afraid to admit that. I know everybody else, again, is going to be like, oh my god, but you always talk about how you like motorsports and handling and stuff like that. How could you like this? These cars are not good for handling at all. I get that, but I don't care. Look at the thing. Look at a Plymouth Hemi Cuda. How could you not love that car? It is so cool. They are such cool cars. Anyways, as for the 80s, we again have 2 choices here. But after this is when we're going to start to get into the really good decades. 80s had some heavy hitters though, but not for muscle cars. So luckily for us, there is no muscle car in this part. First off is the Ferrari F40. This is an obvious one. Honestly speaking, for the 80s had a lot of cool cars, don't get me wrong, but none that really stood out to me as like, yeah, I really want that car. And the F40 is one of those where it's just like, I put it here because I do, like, it is such a beast of a car, but the other option is by far the one I would choose, and that is the Lancia Delta HF Integrale Evo. That thing is exactly what I like about cars. It is a handling monster. It is an obscure, weird, like, niche car that only like true enthusiasts know about, but the true enthusiasts that do know about the car love it. It has a motorsport history to it. It looks cool. It has retro design to it, and it is a car where it's like, if you were driving it on the road, most other people wouldn't be like, wow, that car must be a motorsports legend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that. I love that so much. I think that's the reason why like cars like the M3 and cars like the GTR got so popular, is because, dude, these cars are like cars that, again, if you saw it on the road as a regular person, you would know it's a cool car for sure, but you wouldn't be like, wow, that car must be a motorsports legend. And that's exactly how it is with the Delta, and I love that about it. I'm not even the biggest Lancia fan, I'm gonna be honest. Like, modern Lancias, I don't even know if they make modern Lancias anymore, but like, yeah, they have the Stratos. I thought the Stratos was cool. The Delta S4 was cool, and then the Fulvia was cool. The 037 was cool, and then the Delta HF Integrale was cool. Those are like, that's it. That's like all I like about the Lancia, and of all of them, the HF Integrale I think is my favorite. I know that people are going to be like, well, what about the 037 or the Stratos? I think the Stratos, first of all, was a 70s car, so that doesn't really apply for the 80s. And I actually, this is a hot take, I never really liked the design of the Stratos. I'm sorry, it reminds me of like a Hot Wheels car. It's just weird. I never really cared for it too much. The 037, however, is sick. If the 037 was made in the 80s, I actually don't know. I think it was, actually. If it was, then yeah, you can put that there too. The 037 is a cool car. I do like that car. I don't know, maybe as a matter of fact, maybe I would choose the 037 over the Delta. This is what I mean though. This is why I couldn't choose just one. Because then I have like, I'll be like, I was sitting there like, yeah, I'll just do just one. But then another car would pop in my mind. I'd be like, oh, well, I can't exclude that. That car is awesome. And that's what's happening right now. If the 037 was built in the freaking 80s, then fine. I think I would probably take 037 over the Delta HF Integrale. But it's a really close battle. And either way, the Lancia is definitely the winner of the 80s. God, they had some insane cars. As for the 90s, this is where it starts to get big. We have 4 cars of the 90s, and this is a small number, trust me. There was a lot of other cars that I was looking at that I was like, wow, I really want to include that. Let's go over some of those first. The McLaren F1, the Ferrari F355, the Mercedes 190e Evo 2, the Mark IV Supra, the freaking C5 Corvette. They had, 90s had some, I will say that I will die on this hill. 90s is the best decade for car manufacturing of all time. I will die on that hill. I don't think it's ever going to be beat. 90s had insane XJ220. They had something for everybody. Every brand out there had a cool car. It was an incredible time. But either way, I did narrow it down to just 4. The first one is the Mazda RX-7 FD3S. If you guys know the old Mark Roden boy, if you know my handsome, strapping body, look at that, then you know that the FD RX-7 is like my all-time dream car, and so of course it's going to make it into the 90s category. I love the FD RX-7. I love how it looks. I love the fact that it's got such a wacky motor in it, but it works. I love how it sounds. I love how it handles. These cars are little go-karts. Everything about the FD RX-7 scratches the Mark Roden itch, scratches my sack for me, and it does the whole pinch and roll method instead of like the grab and scratch method, and it's great. It's an amazing time. I love it. Next car for the 90s that I love is the Dodge Viper GTS, the second generation Viper. Oh my lord. I've seen these before in person a couple times, and it never manages to blow me away. Like, or it never fails to blow me away. It never manages. Yeah, I hate it so much. I'm always sat right in my seat. No, it always blows me away. I have to start grabbing onto the wheel of my car. I feel like I just walked into a Nomad trap in Rainbow Six Siege. It is just such a beautiful, beautiful car. And then it has the V10. Obviously, it was a handling beast. It worked on a lot of the issues that the first gen Viper had and really perfected the Viper design. And then the blue with silver stripes is just iconic, man. How could you not love the blue and silver stripes? Oh my gosh. Oh my good googly moogly. That is one beautiful, beautiful color combo. Next up for the 90s, however, is the Lamborghini Diablo SV, specifically the one with the fixed headlights. I don't like the Diablo SV when it had the pop-up headlights. I know it's crazy, but I don't know. I'm a big Diablo fixed headlights fan. I like it a lot better. Either way, the Diablo SV with the SV symbol on the side of it is something that could really get my gears going, man. I'm not a supercar guy. You guys know that. I don't really care about but when they make a car that, yes, it's a supercar, but it's just an incredible car, and it's not just about the image that car portrays, but actually is about like performance and stuff like that. It really does. It's like supercars are such a weird thing for me because most of them I don't like them, but then they introduce that one supercar and it's just like, wow, that freaking works. And that's the Diablo SV to me. This car is unbelievably gorgeous. Was it like a super good race car? I don't know. I think it was in the GT2 class. I don't think it did that great, but it doesn't matter. And that's the GTR anyways. It's not the SV. And so I don't really care too much about its motorsport history. The Diablo SV is a great car. And then finally, the last car of the 90s that I put on this list, but again, there are a lot of 90s cars that are freaking beasts, is going to the Acura NSX NA1 or the Honda NSX NA1. The first gen NSX, the supercar killer from Honda that nobody saw coming. Oh my god. If you don't know the history of the NSX, I highly recommend you go watch a video. I think Donut Media probably did like an up to speed on it. Go watch their up to speed because it actually is truly a remarkable feat from Honda. And everything about the car was so unique, was so cool, was so different, while still being a reliable Honda. In a reliable, somewhat affordable Honda too. Like, yes, it was still expensive, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like a $300,000 supercar. And it's just so awesome. Mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, and looks like a Ferrari, but made by Honda. It is so cool. And nowadays, obviously, the tuner scene has gotten a hold of it and made it even cooler. And it's just like, I love it. I love everything about the NSX. However, if I had to pick one car for the 90s, to a surprise to absolutely nobody, I think I would pick the FD RX-7. I love the FD RX-7. I think if I had to pick one car of all time, it would be the FD RX-7. I love it so much. It's just, that's my car, okay? Like, everybody has their one car that's nobody else really understands why they love it so much. And to me, that's the FD RX-7. So I would pick the FD. But the Viper is a close second. I freaking love the Viper, dude. That car is so cool. As for the 2000s, though, there are, again, 4 options for the 2000s because the 2000s actually, I think, also made a lot of really, really cool cars. At least like the early 2000s. Once they started getting into the 2010s or later 2000s, yeah, they kind of started to fall off. Either way, though, the first of the 2000s is the Lamborghini Murcielago. Again, I'm not a supercar guy, but goodness gracious, the Murcielago is one very cool car. This is a super, I have said it before. I'll say it again. My obtainable dream car is an FDRX7. It's the reason why I love it so much is because I can actually own it one day. In my opinion, I don't really understand why people dream so much about owning cars that, realistically speaking, I know you don't want to hear this, but realistically speaking, you probably will never own one day. That's why I don't really care for supercars, because it's like, yeah, they're cool cars, but what are the chances I'll actually own that car? My unobtainable dream car, my supercar, is the Murcielago. A gated manual Murcielago Roadster would be, I don't know what, I think I would just poop in my trousers every day of my life. I would wake up and be like 6 feet taller because there'd be a turd that's 6 feet long coming out of my anus, just perching me up on the freaking, on my bed. I would look like I was on a pedestal. It would look like I was in a bunk bed, because every day that I woke up, I would just be so freaking excited that I had a gated manual Mercy outside. I would go into every store and just scream it out of the house. There could be like a bingo night for 80-year-olds, and I'd walk in and be like, just letting everybody know, I got a Murcielago, it's gated manual, it's a Roadster. Just wanted to point that out real quick. Like, that thing is so cool. It's so cool. I love the Murcielago. Next car of the 2000s is a Mitsubishi Evo 9 MR. If you guys can't tell, like I said before, I do like the whole handling aspect of motorsports. That's my main thing. I don't really care too much about the straight line speed. It's obviously cool, but I do care more about the handling aspect. And goodness golly me, it doesn't matter when talking about an Evo 9, because it has both. It can handle really well, but if you are darn tootin' downtrodden if you think that bad boy can't go fast in a straight line too. The 4G63T, this is the best iteration of the 4G63. It's, in my opinion, the best looking Evo of all time. I know there are going to be other people out there that disagree with me on that, but that's the great part about Evos, is you can choose any generation of Evo and be like, that's my favorite Evo. And nobody's going to be like, you're wrong, that Evo sucks, because they're all great. Every generation of the Evo is great. Yes, even the 10th gen Evo was a great car. In my opinion, the 9MR is my favorite, and oh my god, it's a really cool car. Evo over WRX all day, by the way. Sorry. Next up is going to a bit of an odd one. I feel like most people probably didn't see coming, but the Lotus Elise 111R. I know. People are gonna be like, what? A Lotus Elise? Really? That's one of your favorite cars of the 2000s? They had some heavy hitters, and you're gonna go with the Elise? I mean, they made the Esprit V8, I'm pretty sure, in the 2000s. That might have been a 90s car, actually. I can't remember. But like, Lotus themselves might have had a better car, depending on who you ask. Not to me. I think the Elise 111R is the much cooler car. It really is just a absolute beauty to me. I gotta add one to this list. I just thought of it. But yeah, the Elise 111R is exactly what I like. It's a handling little monster with a Toyota engine in it. Like, that's just so cool, dude. It's so cool. And the problem with British cars is their reliability, right? They're all unreliable. But you throw a freaking Camry motor in it, now it's reliable. And it's just like, oh my god, I love the Elise. I love it so much. That's a little nice cool Miata. Hey man, how's it going? I like NVs. Anyways, that was nice. He was smiling from ear to ear, and I was smiling from ear to ear. Anyways, yeah, it's literally the British Miata, and to me, that's really cool. Unfortunately, they are just so expensive nowadays. Like, God, I want one so bad, but they are expensive cars. And then anyway, finally, for the 2000s, I'm just going to mention this one quick, because I don't really have much to say about it, besides I just love it. It's the Pagani Zonda. Yeah, I like the Pagani Zonda. I think it's a really beautiful car. I don't like modern Paganis. I really don't. I don't like the Huayra. I don't like the whatever they came out with now. They call, what is it called? That friggin', it's like a Heaven or something like that. Whatever it is, I don't really care for it too much. Europa? What is it called? It's like the Pagani. I'm looking it up. I'm just gonna drive me insane. I'm at a red light. Don't judge me, guys. Don't judge me. I'm not driving while I'm looking it up. Okay, I promise. What is it? New Pagani. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Utopia. Yeah, the Pagani Utopia. I hate that thing. I think that thing's so ugly. But either way, the Pagani Zonda F. Oh, that is a car that I want to tell my mother about. Okay, now obviously if I had to pick one of the 2000s, so you should have known based off of how much I was hyping it up, it would be the Murcielago. The Murcielago is definitely my favorite car of the 2000s. Now moving into the 2010s, and there is 3 cars of the 2010s, and the first one is going to the BMW M4 F82. This is potentially my next car, actually, after I sell the old Integra. I love the F82 M4. I know everybody else doesn't like the fact that they went from power steering to electric steering. steering, it takes away from the raw driver's feeling of a BMW. I get that, and maybe they're right. But to me, the F82 M4 is the best looking BMW of all time, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I think the F82 M4 is just perfection in terms of its looks. It looks unbelievably good. And again, I know people are going to disagree with me on that. I know that's a very hot take. I mean, BMW has some really cool cars, and saying a modern BMW is the best looking in your opinion is like, it's like sacrilege. Like, these people are probably going to start putting me on a friggin', I'm going to get home and get nailed to a cross, okay? But I that's how I feel. The F82 M4 is, in my opinion, absolutely gorgeous. It has a perfect mixture of aggressiveness plus like bouginess. And then the best part about the F82 M4 is the fact that it's now actually like a reliable car. Like, you can, like, the S55 is an actual like decent engine that you can use this car as a daily driver, and it's not like far-fetched. That's so cool. Like yes, I love the M3 E92, but nobody's gonna daily drive an E92 M3 because the S65 it's just a nightmare of an engine. But you got the freaking S55 now in this car. I think that's what these are called, by the way. I could be wrong with these engine names. Don't quote me on the engine names. But you got it in this car, and it's a freaking great, it's a great engine. I love it. I love the F82 M4. The second one is, I've talked about it before a lot, and I've hyped it up a lot. The McLaren P1. How much time are we at for the video? I don't know. I can't see because I got a glare. Who cares? Oh yeah, but the McLaren P1. I like the McLaren P1 a lot. It's one of my favorite hypercars of all time. It is just so sexy. It is so freaking sexy. Hey, look at that dumped Accord. Nice Accord, man. Anyways, it is a really, really good looking car. Don't got much else to say about it because I don't know anything else about it besides that it looks cool. Okay, that's all I know. And then finally, for the 2010s, my last favorite car of the 2010s is the Porsche Cayman GT4. Notice I didn't say the Porsche Cayman GT4 RS because I don't actually like the GT4 RS. I think it's too over the top. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I think it's a little riced from factory, kind of like the FK8 Type R. I just really don't like how aggressive it looks. The GT4, on the other hand, just the GT4 is a perfect mixture of, like, yeah, it's aggressive and you can tell it's a race car, but it still looks like something relatively like calm and ready for the road. And I love that. I freaking love it so much. And I know people are gonna be like, well, what about a GT3? You know, what about a 911 GT3? I don't know. I've always been somebody who, for some reason, likes the Cayman more than I like the 911. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I'm sorry. I know it's crazy to say that, but I do. I like the Cayman so much more than I like 911s. Maybe it's because they're overplayed. I see 911s a lot, whereas I don't see a lot of Caymans. And so maybe that's why. Maybe I'm just like kind of burnt out on 911s. But I genuinely, maybe if somebody offered me a 911 GT3 or a Cayman GT4, I really don't know which one I'd choose, just for the fact that the money I could get for selling the GT3 is more than the GT4. But I do like the GT4 as a car better. I think it's a freaking gorgeous car. I love it so much. Obviously though, like I said, my favorite car of the 2010s is the F82 M4. I love it. I want one so bad. I am literally this close to just pulling the plug and being like, whatever, I'm young, let me make a mistake, let me buy an expensive car when I really shouldn't, and buying the M4. I'm like this close to it. I want one so freaking bad. It is, yeah, it is a dream car of mine. I love that car so much. And again, I know BMW purists are going to get upset about that because they like the classic BMWs and say that they're much better options, but that's not me. Also, I drove past my destination. So last though is the 2020s, and we only have one car here for the 2020s because there really is only one car of the 2020s so far that really I'm like actually enjoy and I'm like excited to see and like, and that is the Mark V Supra. I know it's crazy, but yeah, I think this is probably my favorite car of the 2020s. I really don't have many cars of the 2020s that I like. There are people are going to be like, what about the C8 Corvette? I don't really care for the C8 Corvette. I like the C7 better. There are so many other cars that have been made for the 2020s, and they're just not my style. I don't really care for them that much. But the Mark V Supra is my style. I know people don't like the fact that it was made with a BMW motor instead of a Toyota motor, but I actually think the BMW motor makes the most sense. It stayed true to the twin turbo inline 6 2JZ from the 90s, and it's a great tuning motor. It is decent, it's pretty reliable too, and you can get insane power out of it. It makes sense for a Supra, although yes, it does suck that it has a BMW badge on it instead of a Toyota badge. That part is obviously, yeah, a little unfortunate, but this car, the motor is still a great motor for the car. But anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. I think this is probably like a 30-minute long video at this point. I can't see it because of the glare. And so if it is that long, I apologize. I really hope it's not, because I know people don't like watching videos that are that long. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.